G'day mates, today on the channel we'll be going down under. No, actually we're just going down under the car. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to take a break from the cylinder head, do some other work that needs to be done. As that silly skit sort of said, we're going to go underneath the car today for a little bit of work. If this is the first time you've reached the channel, as always, I appreciate you taking a look. For all the people that have been following me and continue to follow and leave comments, I really appreciate you guys. Always look forward to hearing from you and seeing pictures of your projects as you're coming along on your VW journeys. So without any further ado, now that I'm back from paradise, I guess I better get working on this car again. All right, let's see, this is the day that I'm gonna get rid of this greasy, grimy overgut oil pan that has seen better days. It's got some damage here in the bottom. You can see up here it's got a lot of muck and crap.
That's disgusting.
So now where I've got access to all this stuff, it's about time to start cleaning it up. So let's get this pan off.
Go get him, Tiger.
Oh, that's nice. That's real appetizing. Alright, so let's see, with the oil pan off, the next thing I want to do is pull the oil pump off. Again, there's probably no reason to think that there's anything wrong with it, but since I'm in here and based on the fact that the oil or the sludge left in the pan left something to be desired, I'm going to pull this off.
That's what she said.
I believe there's two mounting bolts, one right here and one right here. I believe it is a 13 millimeter. Yeah, a 13 fits on there. And then it should just drop straight down. So let's undo some bolts and see what happens. Okay, that came off easier than I expected. Let's try the second one. And that one as well. Okay, so this is a fairly long bolt.
That's what she
goes towards the front. Okay, this does feel loose. Does feel loose. Second bolt is a pretty long bolt as well. So I make sure that's over on this side. And let's see. It's going to come out. Oh, and there it comes. All right, so there's the whole oil pump. All right, so here is the oil pump. It just again held on by 2 bolts and slipped right out, and looks like it can only go on one way. It's got a blade interface up here at the top. You can see the impellers down below, so as this thing turns, this is moving the oil through. It's got a little bit of a plastic deal right here, so that's a reuse. Well, maybe not. I don't know if that's reuse or not. We'll have to see if the new kit came with one. But anyway, one Mark II Scirocco oil pump out. Alright, before I get in here too far, you can see that some of the gasket's still on here. This looks like it's a rubber gasket, cork, or actually this looks like a cork gasket. Need to go around here and peel the remainder off. So I've got a clean surface to deal with, but yeah, I'll just take a moment or two to rip that off. Okay, so I've got the pan off, right? I've seen a lot of folks' videos where they, basically take this cover off on these 2 bolts to try to get to these 2 pan bolts that are underneath there. I suppose you can do that. I certainly did not feel the need to do that, as long as you've got a thin extension, like a 1/4 inch extension with a universal joint on the end. I didn't have any problems getting up in here, but depending on your situation, you may want to take this cover off. Did get it cleaned up, as you can see, and now I think it's time to get the new oil pump and pan put on. Alright, so as I just got this thing off, here's the old pump. It does come with this baffle right around the pickup. Let's put this aside and see what the new pump looks like. Alright, so new oil pump. Here's a bolt. I don't know if this is the old one. Alright, so here's the new oil pump. Has a little protective sleeve on it, and this one comes with a baffle on the pickup. So again, this should be a very easy install. 2 of these bolts, here they are. They're actually the same length. Very quick install. Right up in. Make sure you take this thing off, obviously, but it should be a very easy install. Now, I have seen a number of places that have been suggesting, other sites, that you prime this pump. The purpose of priming the pump is to put in a little bit of oil, new oil in here. Obviously the crankcase is completely dry right now, and rotate the impellers so that you start to initiate the flow of oil. The purpose of that, from what I can gather, is to make sure that when you start the car, you're not starting in a dry state. You've already sort of got things going. I'll probably do something like that. Realistically speaking, and the schedule that I've been on, it'll probably be weeks, if not months, before I actually get to the point where I'm going to be able to start So anything I do to prime this is just going to probably run off into the, sit in the bottom of the pan anyway. Maybe some of it will be captured in here. So, you know, you figure out what you want to do, but neither the Haynes manual nor the Bentley manual said anything in the replacement procedure for an oil pump to prime it. So again, I'll probably put some in here, spooge it around a little bit to get a flow so that there may be some trapped within the pump itself, but you do you. With a new pump, I'm going to need a new gasket to go in the pan, and instead of doing a regular gasket, I've decided to put one of these baffles. This is an oil pan baffle for a Mark 1 and Mark 2. So I won't need to use the plastic baffle that comes with the oil pump. The oil pump will actually fit down inside of here, but I will put this baffle on. And then, in addition, you saw how nasty and beat up and grimy the old oil pan was. Hit a number of things on the LA freeway a couple times when I live in California. It's got dents and whatever on it. So for the price of a new pan, let's put a new one on. So look at that baby. Nice and new, and what a beauty of an oil pan that is. Okay, I think that's about it. Let me get this baffle off. You can see that it's just got a couple clips that hold it on, so I think if we pull these clips back, this thing should come off. Again, we're not going to need it if you're using the larger baffle. So yeah, there it comes off. Here's the pickup all by itself. There's the screen in here. Pretty simple device. So I am going to discard this. And again, this pan, I believe, will go something like yay. It'll fit in here. So I think after I quote-unquote prime this or get some oil in the pump itself, I think it's going to be sort of moving the pan and the baffle and this pump in at the same time, because if you can see this pickup, you can't just put the pump in. Maybe I can squirrel around. I don't know. I'll play with it and see. You can see on this baffle, it's got a nice integrated rubber gasket, so that ought to provide a really nice seal both on the top and the bottom surfaces. And when I put that thing on here, this is what it's going to look like. Okay, new pan, new baffle, new oil pump. Let's do it. All right, so I did a quick test fit. Just loosely put the oil pump in here, and then wanted to see if I could get this baffle put on after it was on, and as I suspected, the answer is basically no. You can't get the opening over all the way due to the offset. So the way this is going to have to go on is put the pump and the baffle on at the same time.
Exactly.
So let's try that. And then these 1 and 2 mounting bolts are supposed to be torqued down to 15 foot-pounds. And then the blade up at the top needs to have a little bit of assembly lube on it.
Lube!
Okay, what a mess that is. And number 2, pre-priming this pump and then trying to get it up here with this baffle was quite the mess. You can see it's still dripping. I've got a pan down here. I guess it's not too bad. I did put the assembly lube on there like it said. It's just a little bit messy, but that should be it for getting these 2 bolts on. I'm just gonna lightly snug them until I get the torque wrench on them, just to sort of get them in place. Make sure that there's no play, no movement. It is up in here and seated. Yeah, it is seated. Okay, so that's it. This is still free to move, but that's getting it on. So let me go ahead and get 15 foot-pounds of torque on this new pump, and we'll call the pump install good. All right, so these go to 15 foot-pounds. Okay, 15 foot-pounds on both of these. That should do it for the new oil pump. Now, the next thing to do is to get the new pan on here. Hopefully the old pan bolts are long enough. We'll try seating these a little bit at a time, but it looks good. So, next thing to do is to get the pan on. Alright, I have got couple pan bolts, and let's see if we can get this brand new oil pan up on here. Alright, so I've got all of these put into place. I've got them snugged down. And now I'm starting to put the torque wrench on it, 15 foot-pounds. And as I go through to make sure that I don't miss any, I'm doing them as much as I can in a crosshatch pattern. So I'm going to use a silver Sharpie. You could use a paint pen or whatever you'd like. And as soon as I get one torqued to the 15 foot-pounds, I'm putting a mark on the bolt so that I know which ones that I've done. And then I'm going to hit all of these around as best I can in equal spacing, kind of like a star pattern, and this job will be done. So let's see, I started with this one directly in the middle. Okay, so that one is torqued to 15. I'll go ahead and put a Sharpie on it to know that I've got this one. And we'll just continue around the world. Alright, so I'll be back when this is done. Alright, so I've got all of them down, all of them marked with the paint pen or the Sharpie, and this job is done. Done.